Great day, evolutionaries. Today we're going to talk about the Nkati. I know for those of you who have been following, you may be somewhat aware of what the Nkari is, why the Nkari, how the Nkari. But for those of you who don't know, I wanted to provide some information today to kind of bring you up to speed on what's going on. So the Nkari. The Nkari are an ancient group, ancient civilization of people from the land of Kemetra, a fifth dimensional existence that runs parallel to our 3D existence. They're ancient. They're a million years old, so they've seen it all. They've done it all. They've been around to watch Earth's transformations, but they're also tethered to the balance and alignment of Mother Earth. Not necessarily humanity, but Earth as a whole. So I came up with this idea years ago, like 2 decades ago, and it was based off one character, which was I was playing around with the concept of what would happen if a person who was born under a particular sign, for example, me being a Scorpio, were able to maximize their existence, completely unlocked, untethered existence. What would they be possible of doing, or capable of doing? What would be possible for them? So I started playing around with the idea. And as I built on that idea, some of the things that I was studying, I started seeing in different aspects of quantum physics when I started looking into that. I was deep into the Gaia channel at that time. GAIA, if you don't know what that is, the Gaia channel provides alternative knowledge and wisdom for people that are outside of the box, if you will, in a lot of cases. They also got a lot of other magnificent stuff like aliens and stuff like that, But I was digging into the idea of what could a person do with their mind? What would they be if they ascended to a fifth dimensional existence? And that's how I came up with the concept of the Nkati. The reason that I chose Sacramento to make for their home, once they came from Kemetra, I chose Sacramento because of the elements that surround it. Sacramento is one of the most perfectly placed geographical spots that you could think of when it comes to cities in America, right? It sits in the Central Valley. If you go 2 hours to the west, you're on the coast, you're in the Pacific. San Francisco, Monterey Bay, anywhere over there. If you go 2 hours east, you're in Lake Tahoe, pristine air, mountains, just beautiful scenery, crystal clear lake. If you go 2 hours south, it's not much to see there, but it's hot. Like if you go 2 hours, you kind of like in that area where it's a lot of agricultural, little small towns that you'll run into if you're on Interstate 99 or Interstate 5. Like, it's just not a lot in that area to see. But if you go 2 hours north, then you start getting into the redwood forest and those type of things. So you have all 4 elements of air, water, earth, and fire kind of surrounding this area, which would be a zone where the Nkari would be the most powerful, and in order for you to know about the powers, you will have to get the official Nkari handbook, Genesis edition, which will be available in a PDF form really soon. We're going to be selling that PDF form in order to gather up and get the money to actually pay for the hardbacks and what you would call the special edition leatherback copies of the Genesis edition. And in this edition, it explains to you the world of the Nkati. It explains to you the structuring of the civilization and societies. It explains to you the powers of the Nkati. It explains to you how they lived, what their purpose is. And it's going to be dope. So that's going to be one way that you can help support this short series film, is to purchase those PDFs once we make those available. They'll go towards getting the official copies of the handbook done. And once that happens, all those who did purchase the PDF will get a discount on the actual handbook, whether it be the hardback or the leatherback. So that's something that you could do, or you could just continue to share, man. Share the post. Make people aware. We're going to do crowdfunding because we want this to be big. We want to make sure that people who are involved in this are getting their just due, as well as being paid for their time. So there's a lot going into this projects, I should say, because it's a 3-part series. And it's going to be dope. So tune in, follow us on all the social media platforms, lock in, donate if you can, even $1. It doesn't matter. Everything helps towards what we're doing. But more importantly, share this information with your people. If you're into mythology, if you're into lore, if you're into mythological science, sci-fi, if you're into using your innate powers that were born inside of you to become a better version of yourself, if you're into laughing at silly, sarcastic stuff, then this is going to be for you. I promise you. So lock in, twin. The Enkadi are coming. Salute.
I am Zakael of the Enkadi people, and we came to deliver you a message. You know when you're sleeping and sometimes those dreams, they feel so real that it makes you feel like you've traveled to a different